Introduction. This is a spiritual action story set primarily along one road of a major U.S. city, Straight Street. Here we witness the everyday spiritual battles that are raging on earth right now. Seemingly simple interactions and casual conversations are filled with clashing forces of good and evil, supernatural elements that are utterly opposed and are commingling morning, noon, and night every single day. Those who look weak physically can be powerhouses of spiritual might mentally, while those who are strong physically are often feeble-minded spiritually. Here on Straight Street, we bounce between the physical life that is seen and the spiritual life that is unseen, as well as that hidden place of inner conflict over everyday decisions to do the right or wrong things. We know what physical life looks like, but only those who live in the spiritual realm know what real life truly looks like. How does God see people, and how does He teach us amidst our free choice? What do the angels know, and how do the demons work? How would life look to those who see the unseen? And what wars rage within every person at any given moment, even when no one knows, no humans anyway? Mundane life or action-packed adventure? Could our lives in this world be both at the same time? This is a story of the consequences of everyday decisions, seen and unseen, a story of free choice and its capacity for good and evil, where the spiritual unseen is what life is ultimately about, for the way is narrow that leads to life, and there are few who find it, while the gate is wide and the way is broad that leads to destruction, and there are many who enter through it. Yet at the same time, the two worlds coexist and intermingle along whichever way one is on. Soon we will meet the main cast of characters that live on Straight Street, and, as we do, we learn more and more about the depth of the spiritual world and the entities that exist there. We find intense battles in the subconscious minds of even the most mild-mannered people. Some become masters over their carnal nature, and some are mastered by it. We will experience head-to-head action between opposing forces in a variety of ways. As with life right now, there is fighting to the death and fighting to the life. Disciples of light will become masters of the spiritual martial arts of knowledge and truth, and their victories will make them strong in the Lord and in the spirit of His mighty power. They will gain blessings of protection, strength, and guidance that will see them refined like gold passing through the fire. These are those who grow into spiritual giants, clad in impenetrable armor, and with double-edged swords and lightning speed, they will wage war on the enemy. While the enemy also trains its giants in the power of darkness through the evil art of deception, creating warmongers of wickedness that show no mercy and have no conscience left to be found. They are wicked spiritual forces that take over the lives of men and try to pull anyone and everyone down with them into the pit. Who will be able to stand? Who can fight? And who knows the rules of the game? Who will enter wisdom by the fear of God? And who will be defeated and remain blind by the devil and his greatest ally, the flesh? Chapter 1. The War Rages. In the big city, Billy Mack walks down the busy sidewalk along Straight Street near downtown, and it's just another day. Billy Mack is 34 years old, 5 feet 11 inches, with a wiry build and shaggy brown hair that matches his eyes. He has a mostly clean-shaven face, wearing simple blue jeans, a Sum 41 t-shirt, and casual sneakers. On Billy's arm are a number of tattoos, basically boasting a life of wine, women, and song, and he has a couple of ear piercings with one eyebrow ring. In a flash, we see the same scene through a different lens. The unseen spiritual realities of this place become visible as the same people and places pass in what appears, at first glance, to be an entirely different world. Most of the people don't look the same, the places don't feel the same, and some mysterious forms of living beings appear where there were none before. This is what the angels, both the holy and the wicked, see. A normal-looking 5'7" businessman passing by talking on his cell phone is now 6'3" and buff, with a slick, all-black, almost scaly-looking suit, with a dark but metallic red shirt and black tie, greasy hair, glowing red eyes, yellow sulphurous breath, and what looks like a pitch-black balloon-type sphere hovers unwaveringly above his head. The tarry blackness of the orb swirls about within, and though it seems like it might ooze out some of its dirty blackness, it never does. Above the orb follows a strange black cloud that seems to fluctuate in size and shape, radiating an indescribable sense of intense awareness. A plain-looking little old lady with her eyes down and straight ahead of her as she walks normally, which is naturally quite hunched over, now too is significantly taller, with perfect posture looking forward, and seems to shine brightly in a silvery chain-mail dress, with a shiny platinum shield on her purse that reflects her unusual light back at her. She has long hair of pure white, and her light seems to emanate from within her, while a great blood-red colored orb maintains steadily above her head, and an oscillating, seemingly alive, translucent rainbow halo floats brightly above that. As she and the businessman pass shoulder to shoulder, the dark cloud above his head bends around to the outside of the elderly woman's halo, giving way as if to avoid contact. Some little children do not look so much different, yet they have little white balloons above them and nothing more. A well-lit liquor store with many colorful lights is morphed into a shady and mysterious place engulfed in an odorless, stagnant smoke, and what seems like eyes disappear when you try to focus into its murky darkness. A glance upward in this spiritual realm reveals somewhat sparse layers of movement in the air above, unrecognizable blotches of light and dark traveling in all directions, at different speeds, even high above the tops of the skyscrapers. Back in the physical world, Billy Mack notices someone drop their wallet. The moment in time slows and freezes as his eyes lock onto what he realizes makes for a quick moral decision. Now we enter into his mind, to a scene in what might be considered the subconscious. This is the place of inner conflict where a man does his best to uphold his God-given conscience against his own inherent sinful nature. The setting to this symbolic arena of inner conflict is inside a bank, where all of the other people are going about their business, oblivious to the two nearly identical men in their midst. The subject finds himself facing his self, only his other self is more sinister looking. This is his flesh, the embodiment of a selfish, carnal nature that always wants what it wants regardless of anything or anyone else. Billy Mack's flesh is considerably taller and more muscular, and looks way better than his normal self. He's got a button-up shirt with the top buttons undone and the collar up, with some trendy jeans, while clean-shaven and with product in his hair. Billy's flesh tells him to pick the wallet up before someone else does and makes off with the score. Billy Mack hesitates, and his natural nature quickly comes upon him, and before he knows it, slaps him hard in the face. Smack! No one expects anyone to give this stuff back. This is the city. You better count it a blessing. You know you need it. Just grab it quick and no one will notice. Billy Mack jams his hands into the shoulders of his menacing counterpart, pushing him back out of his face and off balance. No, it's wrong. His flesh immediately comes back with a fast right cross to the jaw, followed by a left to the chest, knocking Billy Mack down on his butt. You know it's wrong? What do you know about that? This is a dog-eat-dog world, and you've been getting eaten ever since you moved out here, if you haven't noticed. So much for your big plans and great skills. You better take what you can get, when you can get it, or you're going to be back at the plant selling weed to try to pay for a date, if you can even get one. In the light of day, Billy Mack looks at the person who dropped the wallet, who's rapidly departing the area as the moment of decision is running out. Back within his inner turmoil, his wickedness demands, "Get over there and pick it up before someone sees." Defeated, Billy Mack slowly lowers his eyes down to the clean carpeted bank floor between his feet, and then he promptly picks the wallet up. He hastily looks around, under furrowed brows, to see if anyone is watching, then takes one glance toward the man who is now almost out of sight in the crowd. No one notices, and his eyes fall as he stuffs the wallet in his pocket and quickly starts walking away to distance himself from the scene of the crime. Back in Billy Mack's symbolic subconscious, his flesh smiles, looking down on him, and grows in stature, looming over Billy. Whereas Billy, sadly still on his butt, amidst the random bank patrons who walk around him without a second thought, tends to his sore jaw, and is downcast and diminished. Meanwhile, a young pedestrian, coming in the opposite direction, doesn't even notice Billy Mack, like everyone else on the busy sidewalk, nor the insecure look on his face as he passes him striding along swiftly. The sights, smells, and sounds of the busy city street at midday bring a myriad of distractions to all the senses. Bus air brakes decompress with a hiss, horns honk and braking screeches tires on the pavement. The smell of Vietnamese food mingles with McDonald's on top of a myriad of other smells, and voices of all volumes communicate near and far. In the alternate reality of the unseen, Billy Mack is slightly smaller than he was before, and the balloon above his head turns a shade darker of gray as he gets lost in the crowd. Ricky is a late teen and seems to be on a mission. He quickly rushes past the slower people on the street as if he would run if he could. Ricky is just over 6 feet 1 inch and skinny, with blue eyes and blonde hair that is a little longer than what would be defined as short. He has on light plaid shorts with a casual button-up earth-tone shirt, some Skechers shoes, and some cheap sunglasses. Ricky's iPhone rings and he whips it out. "Hello? Ricky, it's James. What's up, man?" "Oh, hey, James. I'm late to meet some new friends I made." "What are you doing?" Ricky hesitates a bit and replies, "Well, I'm going to a Bible study." "What? Church on a Friday afternoon? Why don't you just come with me to meet the crew down at the showcase? We're going to watch that new 3D horror flick." "Oh, well, I already told these guys I'd meet them." "Whatever. You've only known them for a little while. Come on. We've been friends forever. Plus, Sally's going to be there, and she was asking about you." "Really?" This stops Ricky in his tracks. The bustle of normal pedestrians is nothing when compared to the compounded commotion of the spiritual realm, as the supernatural translation of the living souls flowing around Ricky pass in a semi-blur. The diversity of size, stature, and appearance of the different people in their spiritual manifestation is almost alien. The contrast of a wide variety of bright colors amidst deep darkness is much more dramatic. Though many people are more or less recognizable as themselves, others are extremely altered in a number of ways and look nothing like their physical counterparts. The overall size and shape of many people is often completely opposite to their physical normality, as well as their dress. The eyes of the greater majority of people are almost eerie, within a range from being glossed over in a light gray haze, as Ricky's are, through the spectrum of gray to pitch black, but some have a fear-inspiring, strong glowing red. Only those few with the blood-red orbs have clear and sparkling eyes that are amplifications of their normal colors. Ricky's steady orb is medium-sized and a bit off-white, somewhat like the children's. From this state we enter deep into Ricky's cranium, to that place of confrontation with the flesh in the conflict of decision. He is standing in a plain at the base of a long and high mountain. He's on the edge of a wide and winding road that forks off into a small, straight, and narrow path heading toward the mountain. The wide road is filled with high-paced movement, while the path is seldom traveled. His completely self-centered counterpart is with him, wearing some slightly baggy Volcom shorts, a Monster Energy tank top, DC shoes, Smith sunglasses, and with spiked hair. Their build is very similar. He says, "Man, you've liked Sally forever. This could be your time. Scary movie, 3D, in a dark and close environment. She'll probably be hanging all over you. What a perfect opportunity. You're already late anyways. Those Bible thumpers will understand if you don't show. They're nice guys." Ricky looks down to think about it for a moment, and then glances over along the path toward the mountain. He gradually looks up, his vision ascending higher and higher on the mountain, until his eyes fix on the snowy peak gleaming in the bright sun so far away and above him. "No, I'm going to keep this commitment. Besides, I was really intrigued by the conversations I've had with my new friends." Ricky's flesh instantly spins down low with a sweeping kick to knock him off his feet, but in his quick reflexes, Ricky jumps up and back. "You don't want what's best for me. You're only worried about yourself," Ricky asserts. His cocky flesh chuckles and says, "Man, what are you talking about? You are me. I want what's best for us. Now are you going to just toss aside our best friends and miss a long-awaited opportunity with Sally because you want to try something different? It's going to make you look weird, you know." Ricky looks back upon the mountain and says, "I don't care how I look. I need to do this." Ricky's flesh is immediately upset and begins to get exceptionally mad, his face turning red. But before he can do or say anything, Ricky breaks into a sprint down the path toward the mountain. Back in the physical reality, Ricky starts to pick up his pace again and quickly says, "Sorry, James, but I'm already late and I have to make up some time here. I'll talk to you later." Ricky hangs up the phone and starts to run along the sidewalk on the edge of Straight Street. In the reality of the spiritual, Ricky speeds off swiftly amidst the almost indiscernible environment, and we notice his hovering sphere shining a fair bit brighter. The next time we see Ricky in the spiritual world, his spiritual orb will be blood red.